Hi, readers. Welcome back. So, we've been doing a lot of work when it comes to tackling tricky words. And we found that there are many ways that we can take on hard words. But the most important thing is that we don't skip them. We've been learning that we can chunk words, we can think about what's happening in the story, we can ask if the word sounds like a word we know or if it looks like a word we know, and we can even try out different sounds to see what word feels right. Well, readers, today I want to teach you that when readers are flying through the pages of their text and it feels like we don't know what's happening, we can use this time to put our grit forward. We can say to ourselves, whoa, 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 hold on. And we can figure out the hard words that we've maybe breezed right over. We can name that authors leave clues to help us figure out those hard words. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what clues do authors leave for us? Well, authors leave clues for us in the text that they've written, and sometimes as a reader, we can read to get the gist. If we can get the gist of what's happening in that part of the text, sometimes there's enough clues for us to figure out what a word might mean. Other times, an author will leave clues by providing words that are synonyms, meaning that they have the same meaning. Or sometimes they'll leave antonyms for us, which are words that have the opposite meaning of a word. And sometimes authors are super generous and they explain the word right there in the text. Readers, I was thinking we could try some of this out today by using our read aloud text, Indian Shoes. This comes from the chapter Night Fishing, and I was thinking we could tackle a tricky word together, thinking about the clues the author has left for us. So in this part of the story, Grandpa Half Moon and Ray are sitting out under the night sky. This part says, just then a glittering quilt of stars rained across the sky's inky blueness, high above Grandpa Half Moon and Ray. A mirroring array of lights reflected off the lake's shiny blackness, lapping gently below the dock. So readers, you might already be thinking like I am, what does that word array mean? Hmm. We might even be thinking about the clues the author left us. Let's take a moment. You can even pause the video here if you'd like. Let's think about the clues that the author might have left. Can we use the gist of what's happening? Has the author left us any synonyms or antonyms? Or has the author explained it right here in the text? Hmm. Let's see if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. When I read this paragraph, I'm noticing at the beginning it's describing a glittering quilt of stars rained across the sky. So I know what a quilt is. A quilt is a blanket. And not just any blanket, but it's a blanket that's sewn together with like patches and patterns of pieces of fabric. So there's a blanket of stars that have rained across the sky. Then it says a mirroring array of lights reflected off the lake's shiny blackness. So it's a mirror, like a mirroring of light is reflected off the lake's blackness. A mirroring array of light. Well, I'm thinking about there's a quilt of stars in the sky, and then there's light reflecting off of the lake. So maybe a mirroring array of lights is kind of like a pattern of lights. It's reflecting the blanket of lights from the sky. Wow, readers, so do you see how the author left clues for us right here in the text? In this case, our author didn't come right out and explain it to us, but he left us words and clues and allowed us to think about what's happening in this moment to figure out that word array. Readers, this is going to be such important work that we do every time we read. We already know that we have a selection of strategies to pick from when we're tackling tricky words. And now we have another one. Readers, we can add to our list of strategies by thinking about searching for clues to figure out what a word means. When we search for those clues, we go back to our text. We think about, can I gather anything from the gist of the text? Did the author leave any synonyms or antonyms? Or did the author explain it right here in the paragraph? Readers, this is work we do every time we sit out to read. Now we have our minds turned on. We're giving ourselves comprehension checks, retelling what's happened so far in the story. And now, another way that we can make sure that we're approaching our text with grit is by thinking about those tricky words. Not just breezing right past them, but taking charge of those hard words. Readers, today you'll want to set a work plan for yourself. When you go off to do your reading today, will you maybe first give yourself a retell? What's happened so far in your text? Will you then, as you're reading, start thinking about those tricky words that you're coming across? How can you tackle those tricky words? You might even want to go back and do some rereading, thinking about words you encountered yesterday that felt exceptionally tricky. Readers, off you go. Happy reading.